just to address this comment, Brock Bowers is not eligible for the NFL, so I don't understand why he would opt out.
No, he's not. It's a shame he's not. It's a shame that guys like, Bowers and, Caleb Williams, guys who will be clear like high first round draft picks, are not able to sign some kind of waiver. And I think that should be the next thing. I really do. Okay, I'm not paying attention to that. Um,
Well, here's what I'll say. So number
he's a
one,
very good player. I think Colton Love can play in the NFL. I see it. I trust me. I understand.
we need more. We need to see more of Loveland. That's all I will
Yes,
say.
he's
Is
very
as it
talented.
stands today, no, because Bowers has not only the athleticism but also the production.
Yeah,
Loveland, we just need to see more. Maybe he will be that, but
yeah.
it's just early.
It's
It's
a lot
early
of
to go
projection.
there.
It's a lot of projection in that statement.
Correct.
Right. So just be very careful. It's just like when people did the whole, what was it, JJ equals, who did that? JJ equals CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just like, just hold on, guys. Just because a guy is very talented and shows glimpses, just be very careful before you start saying they equate to the other person. No, but I really do. I mean, don't get me started on that. I can go on a whole rant about. I think some of these guys who are sophomores, who have the tape, who have the um, clear projections to be high first round picks, they should be allowed to sign a waiver and enter NFL draft earlier. Think about a guy like Will Anderson. Will Anderson last year maybe would have been drafted ahead of Aiden as the number one overall pick last year.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
Think about that. No, no, seriously. If you're Will Anderson, you're like, I could have been, and everybody around you like, dude, you could have been the first overall pick, and you got to go back to college. You're like, I could have been the number one overall pick. Think about that. It's
Yeah.
unfair. It
Well,
really
I
is.
think the plus the benefit that guys now have is NIL. Like guys have the ability to make whatever hundred, super high level guys, $100,000 or even 50, $60,000. When you're a college kid and you essentially don't really have bills, like that's a lot of money when it's all essentially going in your pocket. That changes things a lot. So, granted, it's not the millions and millions of dollars that Aiden Hutchinson.
But what are the chance? But it's deeper than that, Des, because like, what are the chances that you're able to sustain? It's hard to sustain draft stock,
True,
right?
very true.
Especially when you're at the top. Let me rephrase that. When you're already slotted to be a high draft pick, right, in the first round. Like if you're at 1 year, you're projected to be a top three pick. Chances are more likely that the more tape that gets on you the following year, it's going to be hard for you to sustain that same projection for a multitude of reasons. Your
Hmm.
play, more tape, other players now being in the mix, right? So it's like, man, like I kind of got to strike with the iron's hot, right? That's why I'm kind of shocked that a guy like Michael Penix, went back to Washington. Not that he can't have a great season, but now you're talking about competing with guys like Caleb Williams and Drake May out of
But
UNC.
see, well, no, because May is a true freshman. So
Is he a true
I think
freshman? No.
that's real. Yes, 100%
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
But I think that's actually smart by Penix because if he comes out this year, he's what maybe the seventh, eighth, ninth quarterback. Whereas even if you're competing with Caleb Williams, all right, cool, he's number one. He still could potentially be QB 2 or 3. Next year. I haven't dove in to see who all is
He
there,
could be that
but
this year. He could have been that this year. I mean, like
no
he's a
QB
better.
2.
He's better. He's better than Will Levis. He's better than Will Levis. He's
But forget about who's better. The analysts are in love with Will Levis. Hasn't won a big game in his career, but
I
they
don't see
they
it.
love him to
I don't
death.
get it. I don't
I
see it. But
agree, but if I'm seeing that and I'm in Michael's camp and Penix's camp saying like, "Hey man, like let's kind of wait," and you know how analysts do that. They fall
yeah, yeah.
they make themselves fall in love with guys where it's just like, well, he's got the traits and the tools and he's big. That's it. And he puts mayonnaise in his coffee. So of course, who wouldn't want a guy like that? Me, I don't want a guy putting mayonnaise in his
The
coffee.
fact he's
That
putting
it's
mayonnaise in
just
your
a
coffee, it really makes me like question your judgment. Like it just
exactly,
does. Like what
exactly.
the heck is
And you
that?
throw a lot of interceptions too.
Yes.
That's something else that makes me question you as a quarterback.
y-
Zach Wilson, go blue. 81 has
Good, good one.
that is
Oh.
perfect. That is
But you
someone
know what
that
happens is that when you get into these classes where, when I say classes, I'm speaking in terms of quarterback classes, right? In which there isn't, you get to a point where you dissect when a guy hasn't truly set himself apart as being a career number one. It's like you get into like this juggling act where people try to make one guy something he's not, right? Like Will Levis isn't a first round quarterback. He's not. Like, stop. You got guys like
He's just a bad decision maker. But
yeah,
like I said, you go back to Zach Wilson. It was like, hold on, hold on. This guy who played at BYU turned the ball over a bunch, was hurt a lot, and it wasn't like he dominated out at BYU. He played pretty good.
yeah.
But same thing, I look at Jordan Love, which he looks to be getting there
I thought
now,
Jordan
but
Love was
he's at the end
fantastic.
of his rookie deal. I think he's in year 3. So when
Dude,
he first, he threw a ton of interceptions his last year at Utah State. But once again, analysts fall in love with it. Well, he lost so much talent and blah blah blah. Okay, what
I
does talent have to do with you throwing the ball to the other team?
Well, it doesn't
Nothing.
help. It doesn't help like you go to an organization like the Packers where they totally cater to Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers, let's be honest, probably isn't the most helpful veteran quarterback to learn from.
True.
So what we always say, Des, situation matters a lot for these guys.
Where you
Um,
go. Yep.
yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. I'll never forget. I watched Jordan Love at Utah State when he played against MSU, just the year before he came out, and I'm like, man, this guy's good. Who is he? He had good size, 6'4". He could throw the ball pretty well. So
Then he put more tape on film.
you put more tape on film, baby, and you see what happens. So,
hmm
I don't know, man. But anyway, we'll
But
continue to
then
pray for
too,
things.
Penix is gonna have to deal with compete with JJ. Next year's draft class. That
Ooh.
that's something interesting too.
Hey man, look, you know how I feel about JJ. I told you, dude. If he has any hopes of being a first round pick, he still got to clean up some things, and he's on his way. He's on his way, but I think that's a whole nother conversation. If he has, which I'm sure he does, aspirations of being the #1 overall pick in whatever draft he goes out in, um, he has to improve, get more consistent. He just does,
Yeah,
and I
he's
think he can.
he's young. He's young.
I
He's
think
got
he
yeah.
can.
He's
No,
got
I'm
time.
not saying he can't. I'm saying
Yeah,
if that's where he's trying to get to, he next year he has to take a step forward and get more consistent. Absolutely.
I'm with you.